Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 3050 8GB model in ARK Survival Ascended or ARK Performance Descended. This one is the Gigabyte Eagle version of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU Z, I don't know why it says video controller there, but it's a 3050, obviously. And over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and 32GB of RAM, which is insanely overkill for an RTX 3050, but it's where I have the game installed. It always takes like 5 hours to install this, so I just installed the graphics card here. Let's go over the settings. First, I'm starting with DLAA. Frame generation, none. We actually have frame generation showing now in the settings menu. This is crazy because previously they omitted this. They just turned it on by default and they didn't tell you anything about it in the options menu. But now it's right here, my friends. We can disable it or enable it. Or so I thought, but we'll get there. All right, I'm starting with Epic settings. It's crazy, yes. I am curious to see how the 3050 does. It's gonna be bad. And I see the light, my friend. 0 FPS. Okay. It's getting single digits, but it's not 0 FPS. 20s. That's amazing. And look at the flat frame time graph as well. There's no frame generation. Indeed. Yeah, okay. This is crazy because first up, I actually launched the game and it said frame generation was active. Then I disabled frame generation and it continued active. So I thought it wouldn't even work and we would need to go over the console command again to disable it properly. But no, it seems like it is disabled right now. There's also no added input lag by the frame generation. Oh, okay. You need to restart. That's why. All right. Anyway, let's set it back to none. I will try frame generation a little bit later. And we're getting 12 FPS. So even with frame generation enabled over this, it would be a completely awful and terrible experience. Obviously, it's not playable. At least this is the flattest frame time graph that I've ever seen in ARK Survival Ascended, guys. So there is no stuttering whatsoever. Let's move on, otherwise I'll give you a headache, and I'm starting to get one, actually. Let's try quality DLSS here with the Epic settings preset, all right? And even with quality DLSS, we went from 9 FPS to 12 FPS. It still drops to 9. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's expected, right? It's ARK Survival Ascended, super intensive title. I just noticed that I'm red. Oh, what is going? It's probably the heat here in my room. It's currently 35 degrees Celsius. Amazing. This is why I'm testing a 3050, because it doesn't consume a lot of power. Imagine I was testing the 5090. It would be 40 degrees Celsius. 40 degrees Celsius is not good, and it would actually affect my health probably. So, yes. So, Epic settings now with performance DLSS is still dropping us into the teens, the low teens, actually 11 FPS sometimes. So, it's not a huge improvement over what we saw with quality DLSS, I guess. It's still really bad. There is no way this is going to be playable with the 3050 with Epic settings, obviously. I mean, I didn't expect it to be playable, and so didn't you, I think. Right, this is Ultra Performance DLSS now. The game is now being rendered at 1080p resolution. Let me just disable that HUD crap, and this looks way better without it. It's hard to believe that this is 360p resolution, actually. It looks way better than that, but of course, it's still not enough to bring it to a playable experience here and playable frame rates with a 3050. So I'm just gonna go back to DLAA, which is 100% resolution scale, and I'm gonna go to something a bit more adequate, okay? Medium settings. Okay, we're back. 1080p DLAA, no frame generation, medium settings preset, which still has this on Epic and this on high. Actually, if you set it to low, it's still going to be on Epic. We're going to try something different here today. I'm not going to stick to the little presets. I'm not sure why I said little. And here we have, oh my god, that water looks terrible. What is going? No, it's still loading. Yes, okay. What the hell was that? All right, this is also installed on an SSD, by the way, so no problem storage-wise and storage speed-wise, okay? And here we go, guys, 1080p medium settings on an RTX 3050. This game gets 15 to 20 frames per second. It's not even 30 to 50 FPS. You know, it's a 3050. It should get 30 to 50 FPS. It still drops to 14 FPS sometimes in denser forest areas here. Look at this. It's completely unplayable on medium settings. Jesus. And previously, guys, you didn't have frame generation, so you would get like 30 FPS and think, oh, it gets 30 FPS, but with tons of input lag, and it was completely unplayable. So first things first, let's start dropping some things here, like the general shadows, global illumination quality, foliage quality, and the textures. And I'm also going to disable the bloom, the low light enhancement, the foliage and fluid interaction. Who cares about that, right? Yeah, the decals and... Okay, so these are the true medium settings, I would say. You know, it's not the preset anymore, but most things are on medium now. And it does make a huge difference, as you can see. We're still at native resolution, and we're closer to 30 frames per second, which is still not amazing, because it still drops here and there, but maybe with some added DLSS now, we can make it playable with the true medium settings. I should call it true medium settings. Right there on the screen, the top right of the screen, yes. Anyway, still dropping into the low 20s, though. Look at that. Oh, my God. Maybe I need to restart to fully apply. I doubt it, though, but just in case, let's do that. Yep, it's exactly the same thing, guys. It still drops into the 20s and 24 and so on. So restarting doesn't really do much. It's only for a few specific settings that you need to restart. I think textures as well, but textures don't impact FPS anyways. So as long as you have enough VRAM, that is. Those shadows, dude. What is going on with these shadows? Like, can I replicate that? Maybe it was just loading still. I don't know. No, okay, so the shadow just disappears once you are off screen, sometimes. Medium settings ain't gonna cut it, apparently. We probably need to go down to low settings. And we will in just a little bit, but let me just try it with some DLSS as well. So DLSS quality puts us up into the 30. This is so soft and over-sharpened at the same time. It's weird. It's not the latest implementation of DLSS, I'm sure of it. Why, ARK? Why? Anyway, they're doing something, okay? At least they put the frame generation toggle in the settings menu. I'm happy about that, all right? And I'm also happy that they improved in terms of stuttering. Right now, it's stuttering quite a bit. Could be because this is an 8GB GPU or 3050. I don't think the VRAM is saturated here on medium settings though. But yeah, with the RX 9070 that I tried recently, it didn't stutter at all. So that is a major improvement in ARK, because even Survival Evolved stuttered a lot by the end of its lifetime, you know, and they've already managed to fix this one, and it hasn't even come out of early access yet. Anyway, guys, 3050 quality DLSS is basically 720p resolution. It's already dropping as well from 30 FPS. So it's not even a stable 30 plus all of the time at 1080p medium with quality DLSS. If you utilize like performance DLSS, it should be decent. Yeah, 40s. It shouldn't drop from 30 FPS anymore, but this is way too low of a resolution. It's 540p being upscaled to 1080p, and yeah, I mean, it looks like crap. So yeah, we need to drop it down, guys. Low settings preset, which has this on high. Okay, I'm also going to turn these down to low, because otherwise it's gonna suck. And yeah, this is it. A lot of these are turned off now. Light bloom, let's disable that as well. I personally don't like the bloom in this game. Oh my god, the shadowy area around us. Oh my god, those are some Minecraft-looking shadows. What? That's something that I was not expecting to see. What are these shadows? Damn. Alright, this is weird. Anyway, guys, I think we finally found some settings that gives us 30 plus FPS at native 1080p resolution. Yay! And we haven't even gone into config files yet. Just see different areas, different stutterings in the frame time graph. So beautiful, isn't it? I mean, what went wrong, by the way? A couple of weeks ago, it was so smooth. And now it's so jittery and broken again. Maybe some recent update just wrecked the frame time graph again, and oh, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the 3050 once again being, well, what it is, a 3050. I feel like it should be doing better than this in ARK Survival Ascended. Maybe not in ARK Survival Ascended because it's ARK, but I feel like it should be better than this with graphics like these. These look very good for low settings, but I mean, we got Minecraft-looking shadows. Come on. Popping is insane on the ground. You can see the rocks showing up a meter away from it. Why are you so annoying? Stop that! And why are you spitting balls of fire? You're weird. You are a weird dinosaur. I'm not even sure. It's probably not a dinosaur even. Yeah, it's just an insect. Freaking weird dinosaur insect-looking piece of crap. Please fight the bastards. Please. Why does everyone fight me instead of the bastard? That's Bob in this game, dude. This is so annoying. Let's do it with DLSS on quality as well. Here we go. We're getting 55, 56 FPS, closer to 60. Oh my, stuttering is still insane, of course. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one. Jesus. Okay, yeah, see the popping of the rocks and so on in front of us. It's like a meter away from us. It's so bad. Also, the shadow has popping. My gosh, the shadow is already so low resolution. Why does it need to have popping on top of it? Oh my goodness. Okay, but now we're back to 100% resolution scale with DLAA. All right, and I'm gonna stand right here and add some console commands. So we're getting 47 frames per second or 48. That guy is over there just walking, so it will fluctuate a little bit. I bring up the little console commands. And the first one is r.volumetric cloud 0. This disables the volumetric clouds. It makes the sky more beautiful, actually. Well, it depends on your personal preference. I think the blue sky definitely improves things by a little bit. And we went from, in this specific scenario, 48 FPS to 60 FPS. That's a big improvement just by disabling the clouds that don't do anything to the game. And depending on if you like the sky to be blue, it even looks better now. So very, very easy to apply this, and it will deliver a pretty good advantage in terms of FPS. Let's disable the volumetric fog now with this command. And that improves our FPS by 2 frames, but it actually makes a huge difference on how the game looks. Look at that. It looks a lot darker in darker areas. I'm not sure if I would utilize this one. I like the volumetric fog in this one, and it takes away like 1 FPS. Please stop making... Did you really need to come here? What are you doing? What the hell? I'm trying to stand still for the tests. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Anyway. It is what it is, my friends. I'll leave the volumetric fog enabled since it doesn't really impact FPS by too much. So the only one that we're using so far is the volumetric cloud. And if you hate the Minecraft looking shadows, you can actually disable shadows by using this command right now. So shadow quality 0. Look at that! 69 FPS. It's perfect. This is perfect, guys. This is now perfect experience on the RTX 3050. Not only you gain more FPS, but you also see better inside of forest areas. It also makes it look like Survival Evolved on the lowest settings possible, maybe with a bit more vegetation. But hey, I mean, it improves visibility if all you want is FPS, higher FPS, with better visibility. This is it. This actually works really well, as you can see. Oh my gosh, I would rather play like this, honestly. So yeah, guys, we're finding some improvement here. At the expense of making the game look like a PS2 title. But it doesn't matter, as long as we get 60 FPS. And we are getting 60 FPS average there. See, deep inside of this forest, it would be totally dark. Look at that. Yeah, I just enabled the shadows and I can't see anything. So disabling the shadows makes a huge difference. Not to the FPS though. In some areas it will make a bigger difference than in other areas, of course. 61, 62 instead of like 59, 50, 60 actually. But the visibility is so much better that I think I would do this. Okay, so we're back to this area where we were getting 69 FPS. All right, and I still have some more commands to try out. So now we have this water single layer reflection command. Let's disable that and see if it improves anything. I guess it gave us like 1 or 2 more FPS. It was fluctuating between 69 and 70. Now it's 71. So yeah, 1 more FPS. We're not really seeing water though, but it makes it look like this. It's pretty crappy, of course. But let's see if it makes a bigger difference while looking directly at the water. 62 FPS makes it look so good here with the layer reflection thingy. And so bad without it. It does give you like 5% higher performance, but I think I will keep this one enabled, guys. I prefer the look of it a lot better here. Then there is this dynamic global illumination method. Let's set it to 0. Oh my gosh, this is the one that gives us a ton of performance from 69 or 70 to 95 FPS. That is crazy, but you saw the difference, right? It's so ugly. But it's also way smoother, dude. Like, it's not the fact that it's getting closer to 100 FPS why it's smoother. It actually is less stuttery. Look at that. I'm not seeing a single stutter so far. Well, as I said that there was a little one, but those huge stuttering issues that we were seeing before are gone with these settings. That's interesting. Some of these settings, or one of these settings, is hurting stability by a heck of a lot. It's probably this last one, since it gives us so many more FPS, right? We're getting so close to an actual PS2 title. If you removed all of the grass, it would be a PS2 title, basically. Also, speaking of grass, there is a command here that I'm seeing where we can disable grass. Grass.enable 0. That doesn't do anything. R.grass density quality level 0? Is that it? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that didn't do anything, guys. We're still getting the same FPS. It looks exactly the same. So that might be already on 0 from the low settings. Ah, what a shame. Anyway, that's it for the console commands testing here, okay, with the low settings as well. I think we might be able to find a nice balance, you know, between the lowest settings possible with these commands and like medium settings maybe. So I don't know what this does, but the draw distance right now is absolutely atrocious. Let's set that to high. Let's set textures to medium. Post-processing, I don't care. This, I want them on medium. No Minecraft shadows anymore. Global illumination, I feel like it's really important. And foliage quality as well as effects quality, I'm going to set those to medium as well. So let's try it out like this. Okay, low light enhancement, I'm going to turn that on, the light shafts as well, I like that. And let's go ahead and save that. So now, it's a lot worse. It's into the 50s, but it also looks crap. Okay, so we basically destroyed the game at this point, and I'm not sure if there is a way to come back from this. Maybe set this to 1 again. It's way too dark right now. What the heck? What did we do? It's the shadow quality. Oh my god, what the hell? You know what, guys? Let's call it a day. I'm gonna set it to low settings and have these on medium instead of low. Alright, the ones that are on high on the low preset. And let's check it out like this. Okay, that looks a little bit better, aside from that horrible dark hue around us. It's really weird, but alright, that's not too bad. That's not too bad performance-wise, and well, we don't have this. It's such a difference, dude. What the hell? Look at that. Holy crap. That makes a world of a difference. I'm not going to disable that. Even though it gives us a lot of FPS, and if you want to enable that, now you know. But, yeah, I don't like it. I'm just going to keep these settings here that we're utilizing at the moment to try some frame generation on top of, because this is playable in terms of FPS. And I want to see the input lag from the frame generation, if it's playable or not with that. So let's check that out. Gonna go here, frame generation FSR. Let's restart the game. Alright guys, frame generation is now enabled. It feels and looks much smoother. And honestly, the input lag, it's very noticeable, but given the nature of the game, single player, well, it's not single player if you play multiplayer, but it's third person. Well, it's not third person if you go first, but you know what? Never mind. Never mind. Input lag kind of sucks, but for a survival game, that's what I was after, it's not too terrible. And remember, we still got the volumetric clouds enabled and everything, so disabling them will give us more FPS here with the frame generation. Ooh, 80 frames. So now the baseline FPS would be 40-ish FPS, around that, what we were seeing before I restarted the game to apply frame generation. And still got stuttering, of course, that's not going anywhere. That's a UE5 feature, once again. You either have the option of playing with these graphics and decent responsiveness from 40 FPS, or these graphics with good smoothness from 60 plus FPS all of the time, but terrible input lag. You can get used to the input lag, I guess, and I'm very picky when it comes to input lag as well, so a lot of people will be fine with this experience. And over here on the water, by the way, it drops like crazy into the 60s, and once it drops into the low 60s, it's even worse in terms of responsiveness. I don't like it. But it's personal preference, so I'm still testing that. Also, I find it interesting that if you go into the console here, it disables frame generation in the background. Like, look at that. Getting 80 FPS, I opened the console. It's down here now. And these are the real frames that we are getting before FG is applied. It's very interesting. Yet they require you to restart the game to fully apply frame generation, but you can just open this and it disables itself. I don't know what's going on. I found one more console command, and it's this one here. Lumen reflections allow. I'm gonna set that to 0 and see how much of a difference it makes. In native FPS, that would make 3 FPS more or 4 FPS more. And frame generation wise, it's a little bit higher as well, but it doesn't really change the experience completely in terms of FPS, you know? It's not a big increase. It's like 5% once again. I'm not sure if I can see the difference, honestly. Let's just go ahead and try that. Okay, so, alright, it's really minor. Who cares? Alright. Yeah, I guess if we stand over here and take a look at that direction, we can see the sand, for example, being reflected, and once the sand is off the screen, it's not reflected anymore, and those trees over there, yeah, that's very noticeable there. I just take away the HUD again. So that's what happens if you have the lumen reflections disabled. If you enable them, they're more accurate, and there are plenty more reflections everywhere. And now, if the objects are off screen, they don't fully disappear, but they're weird. So I'm not sure if I like it. Oh, at least it's way more distracting, so I'm just gonna disable that and call it a day. Oh my god. Frame generation doesn't know what to do with the guy swimming. So many duplicated frames. What the hell? Oh boy, 90 FPS, 80 FPS, 70s. Input lag doesn't feel obnoxious, okay, with these frame rates. But once it drops into the 60s, it definitely does, and it doesn't feel good anymore. So with anything over this, in terms of quality settings, for example, medium settings preset with a baseline of 25 or 30 frames per second, enable FG over that, you might get 50 or 60. And it sounds nice, but it would be absolutely terrible in terms of input lag, so don't do that. Alright, you need a baseline of at least 40 FPS, 45, to be able to enable frame generation and have a decently responsive experience here. You can still notice the input lag a lot, but it's not too terrible, at least. Oh, and by the way, this is all with DLAA enabled, all at native 1080p resolution. With DLSS on quality, it will be even better. Look at that, 90 FPS. Obviously, the DLSS quality actually kills the picture quality a lot here in this title. I don't know why the implementation of DLSS is so bad here, but it's one of the worst that I've seen so far in games. Can you live with the worst picture quality, with blurriness everywhere and pixelation and noise, or at least more than with DLEA, then sure, go with quality DLSS. If not, DLEA is almost the same experience, just a little bit sharper and a little bit more laggy. I guess there's not much else to it. I think we found the perfect settings for the 3050. Use these over here. Use 1080p resolution, use DLEA in my opinion. Frame generation actually does improve things, so I think I will keep that enabled for my recommendation, but you can also disable that. And we're using the lumen reflections allow set to 0, volumetric cloud set to 0, and that's it. We haven't touched anything else here in the console settings or commands in this game restart that I did, or in this match, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, those are the only console commands that are applied. It works fine. It's smooth. It's playable. It's stuttery. I don't like it, but hey. Let's just disable FSR and run around for a little bit, see what kind of FPS we can get without that enabled and with these exact same settings here. All right. By the way, before we apply the console commands, these are the graphics and this is the FPS. Lots of popping once again, but hey, what can you do? Let's go and try the volumetric cloud 0. There we go. 57 FPS from 48 or whatever. And the lumen reflection 0. That doesn't really affect anything looking in this direction because, well, the reflections are over there on the water. But yeah, this is it, guys. 50 to 60 FPS. Input lag is none right now because there's no frame generation enabled. There's that, guys. Let me know if you're playing this game on the 3050 and whether or not you are enjoying it. Let me know what console commands you utilize as well. If you know of more console commands that improve things by a lot other than the ones that I tried in this video, please let me know. And I'll catch you in the next one very soon. I hope you enjoyed. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.